Hello everybody and welcome to the Projecttop webinar, ERP Project Starting. Concentrate on these 5 critical points before you start planning. Thank you for being here on time. My name is Joonas Iivonen and I'm one of the founders of Projecttop company and developers of the Projecttop process for ERP projects. And what I do right now is most of my time goes to helping companies succeed in their projects, mostly ERP projects, but also CRM and other business critical projects, usually involved with digital transformation and business processes. And with me today, I have Jyrki Autio, who is our CEO. And Jyrki is a guy who is often hired to save projects that are far behind schedule, that are otherwise not going so well, testing has problems. He's also mentoring project managers, training specialists in the field of project management. Has been doing that for 20 years now. Welcome, Jyrki.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Cool. Okay. We're going to move on with a little, okay, regarding questions, sorry. If you guys have any questions at all, just feel free to submit them at any time. In your webinar overlay, you can see a little orange arrow, and by clicking that, you'll open the overlay and you can see the questions and submit them anytime. Don't worry, only me and Jyrki can see them. And we'll promise that we'll answer all questions at the end of the webinar, or if you don't have time, we'll email you. Okay. A couple of things before we jump right into the agenda about ERP projects, what to consider. One of the biggest challenges that we've identified over the 20 years or so that we've been working on these projects is really, it isn't the software, it isn't the technical part, it's how to make your people work efficiently, right?
Yes, and it's so nice to go to new company and every time you meet new different kind of people and they have different kind of agenda and history and
yeah,
and that's make the project as nice as they are.
Yeah, it makes it interesting, and everyone has their own motivations, their own agendas. They have different things going on in their lives. Some are more concentrated on work, some others might not be that much. Some is building house, some is just having a kid, whatever.
Yeah. And the big question is that how to make people work efficiently.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And how to make sure those people that you have in your projects are actually working, spending the time allocated on your project, or are they prioritizing something else?
Yeah, so many projects and so little time.
yeah, because you're always kind of fighting for resources. You want the dream team, but the dream team guys are always busy working somewhere else. They have their plates full, and something that you need to do to enable the people to work efficiently on your projects.
Yes.
And so that is a big part of the success of the project, and a challenge for you if you're the project manager.
Yeah, and you must remember that always if you get success, that success make more success. That everybody wants to work in the project, what is working finely, everything is working, and you are smiling, you have fun, and you make things. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Nobody wants to work in those projects that you're working that are already failing.
Yeah.
It's of course a lot harder to try and save that sinking ship.
Yes.
But the idea behind this webinar is kind of we've done, Jyrki lost count of ERP projects he has done 5 years ago when it was like 140 or so.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm not quite that high, but still, we have done hundreds of projects. So don't make the same mistakes as almost everybody else makes.
Yeah, and you must give people possible to make right things and succeed. If you are just sending emails and creating Excels, and you don't make real calendar reservations and resource planning, and you are just sending tasks without time, then it's bad.
Yes, that is managing people, giving them the possibility to actually do their job well, and not sending that 5 o'clock email on a Friday afternoon when the guy is already has left work, is at the store and sees the link to a hidden Excel file somewhere deep within the shared folders of your intranet. That is where he should be able to find his tasks for the project. That is a surefire way to make sure those tasks don't get done.
Yes. Yeah.
But here are some more ideas, and let's go the agenda for today. We have a busy day today. We're going to go through these 5 points, concentrate on these 5 critical points before you start planning your ERP project. It's choosing the right project model, okay? Agile, waterfall, or a combination of both. I'm pretty sure that everyone in this webinar knows what agile or waterfall project models means.
Yeah.
But basically, agile doesn't mean undocumented.
Yeah, no, unmanagement.
Yeah. At least what we see often, we're doing this project. This agile project means that we have no documentation, we have no clear goals, and we don't know what the hell is going on. That's not an agile project.
Yeah, that's hassle.
Yeah. Yes. And waterfall has its own challenges as well. Maybe there's a combination that could work well. And the phases of the ERP project, the gates and the criteria of them, that's something that we're going to brush starting from the end of the project this time. Because that's usually where you realize, oh no, we should have done this differently. Why didn't we do this way from the beginning? So that's where we're going to start. And we're going to give you some tips and tricks on that. But really important thing during the project building phase, during when we're actually working on the project, is how to enable managing the project with real-time reporting. I mean, to be able to manage the project, you will need to see what is going on in the project.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of ideas for you guys how to do that, how to first make the project measurable, that you know what is 100%, and to actually see how you're progressing.
And in nowadays, it's really possible that when you are going to work or your project meeting, you just take your mobile phone and check that our readiness should be 77% and it's 76. And we can go very detailed. We can see a very detailed situation if we want.
Yeah, the old school way of doing this is that, okay, we spend 50% of our budget and we spend 40% of our time, so we must be 45% ready. But let's not do that anymore.
It's not the status, it's a wish.
Yeah.
I want to be.
Yeah, that's more of a wish.
Yeah.
Then we want to brush on one of our favorite subjects, which is doing the definitions. What is the most efficient way to do that? I mean, I bet many of you guys in this webinar have been doing the definitions. You're sitting in a workshop and the vendors consultants are asking you questions that you kind of understand. But there's a good way of doing the definitions. Usually what we see is a huge definition tome, like 100 or 400 page Word document, which nobody is ever going to read. Or the other end of that is an Excel sheet that has 120 requirements. And in that one tiny Excel cell, you have mapped the whole important business process and expect the vendor to actually understand what it means.
Yeah. It must be possible to do invoicing.
Well, that is actually a requirement that we have seen.
Yeah.
The system has to be able to invoice.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is a better way to do this, and also how to ensure that the deployment of the solution succeeds.
Yeah.
That is pretty much the goal of these projects, and so that it succeeds without the business, without risks to the business, without the business dipping, and so that you actually implement all of the benefits that you were after.
Yeah.
At least most of those benefits, that because we were just discussing this a little earlier, and it was, you had some statistics about how much of the benefits people usually get when they're implementing their new systems. It was something about you get 40% of the benefits with 3 times the costs or something.
Yeah. It's now it was so low. I think that now it's about you get almost 60% what you was planned.
Yeah.
And the budget go about twice or third time higher.
And that is the reality. But we have some good tips for you guys how to do the deployment in a little bit better way.
Yeah, and the one big problem is that that you get in traditional way how you do it, you get 60% readiness, but you can't choose what is the 40%, what is not ready.
Yeah.
You can't choose that. Somebody else is choosing, and that's why you need real-time reporting and real management, so that you make the choice.
Yeah. So that you actually have the stuff that you need to work.
Yeah.
At least.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go. Let's start with choosing the right project model, agile, waterfall, or a combination of both. So both have pros and cons, and we're going to start with the agile method because we've seen all kinds of versions of it. One thing is that, as we said, the agile method doesn't mean undocumented and just doing something. It doesn't mean creating a hassle for yourself. It means that the project team has to know what they're doing. They have to be, they don't need to be the renowned experts of agile project management, but they actually need to know what it means, how to work, and that means training your people.
Yeah.
And usually when you're doing an ERP project, it's the people who are doing the business. They are involved in the business. They are not project management experts.
Yes. And if you have business critical big project and you don't have any knowledge about agile project, it's very dangerous to start that first. My first ERP project is agile.
That is. We've seen successes, great successes, also done in agile ways. It's a really good, great method, but in ERP projects, it has its own challenges.
Yes.
And one of the big challenges is the goals. When you do the definition in an agile way, it kind of builds up, but you need to have really clear goals to know what you're doing, what you're after, and so that the guys involved in the project know what the end result should be.
Yeah.
And how it changes the business processes. Okay. About the waterfall, I like how you wrote it's maybe a little bit easier. Yes, it has like clear phases and clear stuff to be done. I'm really loosely saying this. I'm using air quotes when I'm saying it's a safe choice, but it often leads to failure. The thing is, with waterfall, it usually takes such a long time to implement. Right now, I'm working with a client who started their definitions last October, and the system will be implemented next October. So it's a 2-year difference between when you start the project and when you actually implement it. And this is such a long time today.
Yeah. Business is growing and development and everything's digitalization is running. And
it's really it truly has its challenges, but it's possible to manage it. but you need a strong leader, a strong project manager and leadership to succeed in this project. And usually you really need to cut the project time a little bit.
Yeah. No.
But maybe there's something in between also. This is based on a Projecttop process. This is the process for ERP projects that we in Projecttop have developed. We have done over 200 ERP projects, and this is the culmination of that knowledge. The idea is that you will be agile until the acceptance testing begins.
Yes.
You will kind of be agile until that, but no more. Because the acceptance testing, we're going to get back to that in this webinar, but that is such an important gate that you need to do it right. But really important thing is also the real-time reporting. That's a must that you need to have, and it's built in the planning phase, and it follows you during the whole project. And you really need to take care of the change management and everything else that is changing in the project.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be static. It's always gonna be changing. So we're gonna open this up a little bit for you guys during this webinar. But the idea in a nutshell that the goals will be clear when you use the Projecttop process. We're going to do the planning in such a way that it actually forces you to consider everything, and also document it in such a way that the people working in your project know what the goal is and how to move towards that goal.
Yes.
And so that the project will be managed, you will have the tools to see all the time how it's going, what isn't actually progressing as it should be, and to control your team to operate in a correct way, how they're supposed to be doing it. And it's a little bit easier than these agile waterfall ways. And yeah, it actually succeeds. The projects actually work when they're done this way.
Yeah, and about next slides with a little more about these and the gates. And,
yeah. Let's go a little bit further this, so that the phases, gates, and the important criteria to pass them. So we're gonna start at the end. This is the place where you actually finish the project already. But can the project be closed? And an important question at this point is how much technical debt you have.
Yeah.
And by technical debt, we mean that which of the functions you didn't implement when you went live, how much you've been doing. I mean, usually we see that an ERP project can last for a year or 2 years, and then they implement it, and then they spend 2 years fixing it.
Yeah. And in many cases, the new system is worse than the old system.
Yeah. So that you kind of go live with what you have, and people are working double shifts to actually make everything work. So that we do not want. And as I said, we're going to start from the end and move to the beginning and see that what we should have done not to be in this position. Okay, then the question, did we meet all the business's goals, and was business disrupted during the implementation? And this is just after the deployment. So usually when we deploy the system, I don't know if you guys have been in an ERP project attending this webinar. I'm thinking that most of you guys maybe have, at least you have been in some projects. In your opinion, was the business always secure when you went live with the system? If you think about it, did you sleep well the night before the actual implementation? This is what we want to do. We want to make sure that you can have a good night's sleep, and so that the deployment doesn't disrupt the business, and that we can actually implement everything that we were supposed to. And then a question before we go live: again, moving one gate backwards, is the solution ready for production use, and are there any critical or high priority issues open? These are the things that you need to be able to answer.
Yeah, and this gate should be quite easy if you are working right way.
Yeah.
Because the next one is the big gate.
Yes. What we see here, this is the red gate. This is the big one, as you said. Before we start acceptance testing, before we do cutover practice, the build has to be completed and system tested. So there are no critical or high priority issues open at this point. If you're even thinking about deploying, going live, starting user acceptance testing, these are the things that must be achieved.
Yeah. If then in user acceptance test we are testing end-to-end processes, and it should be quite short time, but if you are doing same time the building and fixing and that kind of thing, then it will go so that deployment will delay, and it will delay quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So that gate is very important.
Yes, and at this point we have finished the build of the system, and we are thinking about starting the user acceptance testing. We're going to do it by simulating going live.
Yeah.
According to the Projecttop method, we're going to start the user acceptance testing just like we would do the actual implementation.
Yes.
That is a really important part. If you have one weekend of time, say a Saturday and a Sunday, to do everything involved in the go live, then you can plan the acceptance testing, say, for a Monday and a Tuesday, so that you simulate the time you have on the weekend, and you do every task. You have the migrations and the master data and the integrations and everything. And when you do it like this, you will get a clear idea of, is it actually working? And during user acceptance testing, you will get a lot less defects, because you are now working in a good environment resembling production, and you won't find any stupid bugs that there shouldn't be.
Yeah, and the big thing is that in this way you find the critical, the real issues earlier.
Yeah, and you'll know if you can do the actual cutover in the time you have. And you have a task list of what to do, what according to the master data integrations and stuff like that. So I guess the pattern here is that to actually succeed in this project, you need to do stuff earlier and earlier in the project, because that is where you actually make the big mistakes or the big successes. So if the project has truly been planned, each task is a step towards successful implementation. I mean, everything here starts from the project planning.
I think that the project planning here is that you are creating a map that how you are going from start to end, and then you are planning that what are the stopping points and what kind of resources, what kind of car you have, and that kind of thing. Yeah. And it should be real planning, not just an easy way to copy some old document.
Yeah. Often the plan is such that you really take something from a previous project and modify it a little, or you make the plan so that you just have lines on a PowerPoint or Excel sheets, and you have testing here and you have development here and build package one here, and that really isn't planning. That's just an overview of the project.
Yeah, and one big mistake is that you are using vendors project plan without thinking your own business.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That we often see that the vendor is, for some reason, kind of leading the project, and what they present as a schedule is what they can manage. And you need to really think about what you can manage.
Yes.
And you need to also consider your business and all the functions of the business when you're thinking of the project.
Yeah.
But hey, we need to move on. We don't have all day, so let's go. So you plan the project well, not just plan it so that you can start the project, but actually plan step by step how it's going to be. And when you know how it's going to be, you know what is 100% ready in each case. That is really important, because if you don't know what is 100% ready, you will never be able to measure your progress. So now we have ways to do that, and we can manage the project with real-time reporting. We know what should be ready and when, and we can actually report how ready it is.
Yeah.
So this is in a nutshell the Projecttop way. Okay, we have to move on. So and how to enable this? What it could look like? How to do this real-time reporting?
And it's quite easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really like that word. It's great, but it isn't hard. And we're going to show you some concrete examples here.
Yes.
It is actually pretty simple. A couple of ideas. As you see, the idea is very simply. You need to make a list of activities in any given phase of the project. First on the title, you just write the headers of the activities, and then people can flesh them out. You agree on a process in which the activities are performed. So how the progress also will be reported. And really important is also to evaluate the workload.
Yes.
I have to say this because I'm actually working in a really big ERP project right now, and yesterday we were allocating resources, and we were actually comparing the vendor's project plan, which is kind of the basis of the project right now, and then we made our own project plan, like a realistic project plan where we had the resources for testing, trainings, setting up the test environments and everything involved in this project. And we came up with a number of some 8,900 hours of work.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, for setting up and for these testing the build packages, and it kind of clearly showed that we cannot just use the vendor's project schedule.
Yeah.
And so we're making a new one. But that's the idea, that you really need to first have the activities you're going to do, and then you can evaluate the workload. Yeah. I mean, this is like project management one-on-one, but it's really important.
Yeah, and that calendar reservations, that is also very important, that you are reserving time for the people to make those tasks.
Yeah, definitely. And that has to do with the first premise, that you need to lead the people. You need to enable them to do well on the project. Yes. And you owe it to your people to give them their task lists where they can actually see what they're doing. Yeah. And then you can instruct people to work according to this agreed process. And then you can create a dashboard in which you can actually see how everything is progressing. And we have an example. This is a project that Jyrki is actually working on right now. And this is an example of a definition phase that you have going on.
I'm quite sure that about 95% of project can't report and see how the definition part is
Yeah, definitely. Because usually the way you do the definition is that the vendors consultants are asking you questions and you answer them, and then you're mapping some processes and they are noting the changes that they need to do to their system, and you're producing this big kind of document. Yeah. But our way, the Projecttop way, where we are going to go a little bit further soon, is so that you actually can measure how much of the definition is done and how much isn't done.
Yeah, and that is the real data, not just the opinion.
Yeah, yeah. No opinions, facts. And this actually shows here the definition progress. This is 0 progress to 100% progress here. And so this is real-time data that you have been doing just right now.
Yeah.
So you are now at 85% or so when you should be at 95%, and you're kind of lagging a little bit behind here.
Yeah, and we are working with that problem, and the idea that we have now some open issues what we must solve, and then when we solve those open issues, we are going quite fast to 100%.
Yeah.
And in right corner you can see how many open issues we have. If 13.
Yeah. Yes. So this is an example of the reporting. So we should be here. You should be on 100%. We are at 85, and this other report shows you what is lacking. So these are the kind of management tools that you need to keep your project on track.
Yeah.
So, and now you know when you solve these open issues, and as it is, usually in definition, in testing, in everything, it is the last 5 or 10% that is the hard part.
Yeah.
Because you first solve everything that is easy. Of course you do. And then the stuff that isn't that easy, it's hard, so you leave that for last.
Yeah, and one big thing when you make definition, one part is that it's not only that you change the system, the solution. Nowadays, when we have this digitalization, you must change your business.
Yeah.
The way how you do the business, and those decisions, you must ask with the business and make some conclusions on that kind of thing. So it takes some time, but now when I'm going through this status with the managers, okay, we have now 13 open issues, we must solve those. Then there's, okay, show me the issues. Then I have one detailed list where is the right online status.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they make the decision, okay, but let's do that, then we can continue.
Yeah.
So that's the live process.
Yeah, and you know exactly what is going on and what is required of you and your guys.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the idea. Next, we said that we would give some tips about doing the definition phase, which is usually something that can go horribly wrong in a project, or at least cause a lot of issues later on in the project if it's not done correctly. And definition phase is something that you can kind of slack on a little bit and not do it as well you should do it.
Yeah.
And just kind of sweep the things under the carpet, but they are gonna come back and bite you in the ass when the acceptance testing starts.
Yes. Yes.
All the issues will be there.
Yeah. And if the definition part is the first part where there's a lot of people. Yeah. And then if you have some workshop and people are coming to sit there, and if it's not efficiently, if it's not working fine, then the people are just, oh, okay, it's just one stupid project again, and I have nothing to do. I don't come into meetings anymore because I'm not needed. It's very important to start the right way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And here are some. This is the Projecttop process in a nutshell for doing definitions. That first we're going to use cases that describe the business processes or part of a business process that you're going to make right, and you're going to map them, and you're going to write each step of those business processes so that both you guys and the vendors guys actually know what is going on.
Yeah, and that's one thing, that you must split the big documentation, the small parts that the people nowadays have time to read. you have focused.
Yeah, that's a really excellent point. If you have tons of Word documents and hundreds of pages, and the business processes are really long, people are just they're just not going to matter, and they are not going to help you at all at managing the project.
Yeah.
If you split them into bite-sized parts and you put them in a system, maybe Projecttop, maybe some other system, but then you can see how they're progressing and you can actually report it. If you have everything in a big Word sheet or Excel files, then you can't actually report it.
And this in this big picture, this process is the same kind of process that we said 2 slides ago, that how to make project, how to enable real-time reporting.
Yes.
That you are first make the list of activities, then you make the process, and then resource plan, and then just people are working and you are just giving high fives that everything's going fine.
Yes, and you're monitoring how it's going.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. At this point, we don't have much time in the webinar. We can't really go into details here, but if you guys like, you can go to projecttop.com, our webpage, and you can check out the VIP area. I've circled it here nicely, but the idea, we have a whole guide for ERP projects here. I mean, a detailed guide from planning to implementing an ERP project. Everything is in the VIP area. Go take a look. It's free. You don't need to sign up or anything. Just go check out our instructions.
Yeah, and give us a comment if you have different kind of opinions, or if you need some new information, please give us.
Yeah, and that's because in this webinar we really don't have the time to go into details, but you can go and check it out yourselves.
Yes.
Okay. And how to ensure the deployment of the solution succeeds. Okay, this is something that doesn't always maybe succeed, but we think that a really big factor here is the cutover practice. In our methods, what this means is that when you are going to, when the build of the system is pretty much ready, you have the system tested, there are no open issues at this moment, and then you are planning the acceptance testing. And when you do the acceptance testing, you do it like the dress rehearsal, like the cutover practice, as we mentioned earlier. So that you start the acceptance testing just like you were going live. And this gives you a lot of benefits. I mean, first of all, you will see if you can do it in the time slot that you have available. You can see what you will have a task list for the real thing. You will have a clear list of what needs to be done, what integrations need to be turned on, and what master data migrations are done, and what other tasks there are.
Yeah, we made one cutover practice Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And one thing what we noticed is that the original plan was that we are entering our stock and the stock prices manually.
Yeah.
And then we noticed that this is just too big job.
Yeah.
And they also the vendor says that it's 2 days work if they make us a tool what we can use in cutover.
Yeah.
And we says that no thanks, because it's just like one time tool. But now when we do the cutover practice, we know that it will cost a lot more to make it manually, because we need so much time. We have 4,000 items.
Yeah.
So that's kind of thing you notice. And then if you are planning deployment before user acceptance test, then you can make the situation that this user acceptance test simulate your business processes and real work. And that's the big thing.
Yeah.
The idea is that you simulate the business and make sure that the business can use it, the trainings are made, the change management is made, and then you find some issues, and some of the issues are defects in the system, but some of the issues are change management in business.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and by doing this, planning, real-time monitoring, doing the cutover practice, you can actually make sure that when you go live, you'll have at least most of those benefits that you were after when you started the project.
Yeah.
And your business will not crash when you go live. You will not have a ton of technical debt that you need to fix after you have gone live.
And then it's so that in many times in that deployment part, in that cutover part, there's about 30, 40, 50 people. And it's quite nice that you are practicing that communication and everybody knows what are the rules, how you're making, what are the decision points, that you are not allowed to do things before some decision points. That is good to practice also those things.
Yeah, definitely. And when you do things the right way, it's always possible that everything goes well.
Yeah.
Even in an ERP project.
Yeah, but miracles doesn't happen. You have to do that.
Yeah, you can't just sweep things under the rug and hope that everything will turn out okay.
Yeah.
You need to do the work, and you need to do the work at the correct time.
Yes.
Just a couple of words about us. Me and Jyrki and our guys here at Projecttop, we have been working in some of the most demanding ERP projects across the globe for 15 years.
Yeah.
A little over, but in Projecttop for 50 years now, we have pretty much seen it all, I'd say. All kinds of projects, and for 10 years we have been developing a software, the Projecttop software, to help in those projects, to manage those projects. It's not Excel, it's not Microsoft Project. It is a dedicated tool for ERP projects to make sure that everything was. You can plan the project, you can report the progress, you can test, you can report defects, and you can manage change with the Projecttop software. In this project, you don't have to send emails and have a ton of Excel sheets when everything works in one systematic tool. So for our clients, what we offer is software and expertise to succeed in demanding projects.
Yeah.
That is, so if you guys have projects like this, ERP projects, CRM projects, whatever, digital transformation projects, we'd love to have a chat with you. And just a non-committal chat, see if we could be of assistance. You could tell us what kind of projects you're doing, and we could see if we could be able to help you.
And my work, as you said earlier, is mostly so that I help the project in the difficulties, and they are delaying and budget is going over. It's so nice if we can leave those. I'm so happy to be unemployed. because we just want to help that project will go.
Yeah, and that's why you can check out the VIP areas and everything for free. We don't even ask for your, contact information or anything. We have developed a passion to try and see projects succeed.
Yes,
that is actually what keeps us going. So thank you all. I'm going to see if you have any questions. Oh my, we are a quiet bunch today.
Next slide.
Yes, there aren't many questions here. So thanks everybody, and if you like, you can go to our webpage and you can also have a free trial of the Projecttop software. If you want to take a look, it's just a little trial. You can just see how it looks like, and if you'd like to use it, you can always contact us.
Yeah, and if you have any comments, any questions, please free to ask.
Yeah, definitely.
We are interested in your perspective.
We truly are. Thanks to everybody, and hopefully we'll see you at the next webinar.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.